Here's this month's Soft Flex pack. It is called Book Lovers and I'm going to open it today for you. So let's get into it. Hello, welcome to The Stylish Maker. My name's Carol. Last week I unboxed the Soft Flex Book Lovers Design Challenge Kit with my membership group. And I did it in a live stream and I recorded it for you. So I'm going to play that bit first and then I'm going to make something with the pieces that I have from the kit. With the pack always comes this card which talks about the Soft Flex company and how to buy the mystery pack, etc, etc. So we'll put that one aside. And also with the pack comes this piece of paper which has in it the contents of the pack, and it also has a discount code, and this month's discount code is Bookmark, and that gets you $5 off your $30 or more order. They always put in a little bit of extra, so this month we got a couple of pages of a book. Don't know how you feel about that. Someone chopping up a book. Let's open the parcel. It's quite nice getting these every month because it feels like a present. I like the colour of the wrapping paper, so hopefully that's indicative of what is in the parcel. This looks interesting. I think they might be expecting me to make a bookmark. Let's just tip out all the contents and see what we have. Okay, so firstly we have some glue. Then we've got a metallic Soft Flex, and it is in antique brass colour. It's very pretty. We have a dragon bookmark. We have two wooden teardrops and a teeny tiny book that you can actually write in. As well as that, we have a strand of little hearts. They're kind of a deep pink colour and they have an AB finish, so they're very nice. As well as that, we have a little strand of rondelles, glass faceted rondelles. They're very small. They're probably about 4 by 3, maybe 5 by 3. And they are kind of a pinky grey colour, or maybe a lavender colour. They look lavender on screen, but they're actually more of a pinky grey colour in real life. Okay, let's open these little bags. These are interesting. They're a very interesting shape. And we have some findings here. We've got, those are just crimp tubes, which I always love their crimp tubes. We have 3 of these kind of yellowy gold flowers. And we have 2 cat charms. Also, we have these 2, what are they? They're book charms, and they say once upon a time. 4 ear wires. I've got a clasp. That's what those ones look like. And the hole is in the top here. So they're a kind of a drop. They're exactly the same actually, same colour, same size, etc. And lastly, we have our Jessie James Book Lovers beads. They are acrylic flowers. They look like tulips. Next, we have more flowers. The hole is through here. So at the back, where does it come out? Through to there. So they sit on the wire that way, or on your stringy material that way. They are gorgeous. I like those. We've got 2 of these rhinestone balls, 3 of these beautiful pink faceted coins, 4 of those beautiful teardrops. They're in a sage colour. They're very, very high shine. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these as well. They're faceted. They're a coin, but they're oval, so they're a flat oval. 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. It's all in 4s today. Those are beautiful. They're clear, but they have an AB finish. They're a coin, but they have a kind of beveled side, and the hole goes through the center. We've got some pink, little pastel pink cubes. They're probably about 5 or 6 millimeters. Very pretty. I do like the colors here. They're absolutely stunning. Now these are kind of a barrel, so they're kind of a barrel but they're faceted. So they're a really interesting shape. I really like those. We've got some little bead caps here. Once again, we've got 4. They're very pretty. I've got 2 of these rhinestone spacers. They are a 3-hole spacer bead. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 again of these clear rhinestone spacers. And these are really interesting shape as well. They're kind of a bicone, but they're not. And lastly, we have 4 of these snowflake spacers. Now I'm going to design something with the contents of the kit. Now I did do a little bit of organisation. I have put some like with like, etc, etc. But I'm going to start off with this beautiful book hook, or shepherd's hook, and I'm going to make a bookmark with it. I've actually moved some things off that I'm not going to use today. I'm not going to use these 2 little drops, just simply because they're kind of not cohesive with the rest of the pack, and they only go with these flowers, and I'm going to use those flowers, but I'm not going to use these little drops, so I'll pop those off to the side. So we're going to start off with these flowers. I'm going to make a piece with these flowers, but because there's nothing else in the kit that really works, I think that I am going to use some other beads that I have in my stash. Now I've actually got some little red copper beads, and I know they're not brass or bronze to go with this, but I think they work. So I'm going to put one at the top, one in between each bead, and another one at the bottom. I don't have any charms that kind of go with the dragon theme, and certainly the cat doesn't go, because it scares me that the dragon is coming after the cat. So we're not going to put the cat in danger. But what I am going to do, I've got a little umbrella here. Now, I really like the idea, it's not related to the dragon at all, but I like the idea of sunny and rainy. And I'm also going to be using a couple of jump rings, one to attach my charm here, and I'm going to put one to attach to this loop here. Now, I may need more than one, but we'll see how we go through. And I am going to be using the Soft Flex Metallics Antique Brass colour in a medium for this. The other thing I'm going to need is some crimp tubes, and I don't have any bronze ones, there's only silver in the kit. So what I'm going to do is use some black. So I'll need one at the top and one at the bottom. Let's make this bookmark. The first thing I'm going to do is cut off a piece of my Soft Flex. And when you get your Soft Flex, it comes with a tidy. Don't throw it away, it is really useful for keeping everything all nice and tidy. I probably need about that much, not a lot, so I'm going to cut that off. There we go, and I'm going to put my tidy back on, and that will keep everything nice and neat. The first thing I'm going to do is pop on my crimp tube. And actually, before I do that, I want to make sure that my jump ring's really, really well closed, which it's not. It's just a little bit out of alignment, so I'm going to grab another pair of pliers and just give it a little bit of a wiggle backwards and forwards, and a double check. Now it is nicely closed. So then I'm going to pop on my jump ring, and I'm coming back down through my crimp tube, capturing my jump ring in the loop, and just pull everything up like that. Now I'm going to take my magical crimping pliers and I'm going to crimp it. Now, if you don't have a pair of magical crimping pliers, you could use a standard pair of crimping pliers, or you could just squash it flat. There is my piece with its jump ring on and all crimped. Now I'm using a red copper jump ring, I'm using a black crimp tube, and the antique brass coloured Soft Flex. So you can see it doesn't really matter because they don't look that different. If I was to put silver on here, it would look really weird. Okay, now I'm going to thread on my copper spacer bead. I'm going to put on my sunflower. I think it's a sunflower. It looks, maybe it's a daisy, I don't know. Where on earth is the hole? There we go. It was hard to find. Then another one of my copper beads. Now I do want to make sure that my tail gets tucked down inside that bead, which it is, just like that. And now another one of my sunflowers or flower beads. I honestly can't find the hole in that one. There's the hole in that one. So this bead doesn't have a hole in it. Not that I can see anyway. I have had a good look all the way around and I cannot find the hole. But it is a bit misshapen, so maybe it just got missed. So we're going to change our plan. We're going to go with just the two, and now I'm going to put on my crimp tube. Just going fishing for it with the end of my soft flex. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure my jump ring is closed properly. I'm going to thread it through. Oops. And come back through my crimp tube. Now my jump ring's gone way down there. I need to make sure I capture it in the loop, so it needs to be in the loop of the wire. Going back down, and I'm only going to go through that bead, I think, just that little one, just the copper bead. Just pulling everything down, and if you get stuck, just pull your crimp tube, hold your jump ring and pull your crimp tube down, and then you'll be able to pull again. I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers and give it a squeeze and a turn. Just making sure your jump ring's out of the way. And then I'm going to kind of bend this over on itself and trim off my end nice and close. So there is what I have now, one bead shorter than I expected, but that's okay. We have to be flexible. I am actually going to add a couple of extra jump rings because this is so much shorter than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to open it, so holding it on either side with the split at the top and turning my hand down to open it. And then I'm going to feed on this jump ring and my charm. And then I'm going to close up that jump ring just by holding it on either side again, supporting it really well and closing. So basically reversing. So there it is with its charm attached. Now I'm going to repeat that for the other end. So I'm opening this jump ring and I'm going to feed on my hook, which is quite heavy, and my other jump ring here. And then I'm going to close it up, and it's quite tricky to get in there, so I'm going to actually do it in a really weird way. I'm going to do it right down here on the table. So there is my bookmark, project number 1. Next I'm going to make a necklace with all of these beautiful pink and purple beads. I'm going to start off by just laying out some beads on my beadboard and see where it takes us. I really, really love these two flowers, and I think that they would make a beautiful centerpiece. So I'm going to pop those there. They may need something between them, but we'll get to that. I think we'll go with some of these, maybe a couple of those on either side, and maybe these. Put those there. Not sure about those there. Let's put them up the back here a little bit maybe. Now I've got these gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous rhinestone beads, and they have to go in. So let's put those next to that there. See how that looks. It's nice. What about these ones? Maybe there? Not sure. Maybe those ones would be better. Whoops, up here. So maybe we go that way, because I quite like these two on either side of the pink one. I'm not sure what to do with those ones. We'll put those up there for a minute. I've got these beautiful pink ones, and I feel like if I put them up here, that will balance the pink. And maybe more of those. to bring the darker up. So we've got the darker down the bottom, we've got the pink, and then we've got a little bit more darker up the top here. So that's looking pretty cool. I quite like that. What about these? I think these could go in as an accent for the beads we have already. So maybe they go taking it a step from there to there, and maybe they go there as well. And maybe on either side of that bead as well. How's that look? Not sure. I'll put them up here so we don't forget them. What about these cubes? We've got these beautiful pink cubes here. Cubes are hard to use in necklaces, I think, but we're going to try. I like that. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Next to the, so that brings the pink up even further. And I think, what if I put one up there? And what if I put one between? So that brings the pastel pink all the way up to the back of the necklace. I've got these rhinestone beads too, which they could go in somewhere. I quite like the idea of having them next between this purple one and the pink like that. And I think I'll put one on the other side as well. Now I've actually got some more of those, and I think it would be nice to put some more up here somewhere, just to bring that silver and that shine up to the top. I think I should put one there, and I think I should put one there. So let's try that on the other side. And maybe there. I really, really like where this is going. Now, obviously this isn't long enough, so I need to make it longer, so I will use, I think, these ones. When you lay your necklace out on your beadboard, it's always slightly longer than it is when you string it, simply because your beads don't lay in the same direction or the same way as they do once you've strung them. So what I might do, I really feel like I need to bring some of the silver or the shine up here. So I've got some of my favorite little 3mm balls, silver balls. So let's put some of those in. I always have these on hand. Honestly, 3mm silver balls are my most used beads. I think I'll put them between all those little beads and one on the end to finish. I really like this, but I do feel like it needs something in the center. So this is the obvious choice. It is just sitting there looking pretty. And I wonder if maybe I add one of these, maybe a bead cap on the top. And maybe I'll put one of my little 3mm balls in the middle. So that's kind of what I'm planning. And I will put it on a head pin so you can see. If you're interested in making the jewellery that I'm wearing today, I'll leave you links in the description box for my earrings and also my necklace and my bracelet. I'm going to feed on my 3mm ball first. You don't actually have to do the 3mm ball, but I feel like it just gives it a little bit more depth. Here we go, popping that one on. You can see there. It's just if you see it from the underside, it looks a little bit different. And I'm going to put on my bead cap. So there we go. Now I'm going to use my one-step looper to make a loop in the top. If you don't have a one-step looper, you can absolutely just make a loop the way you normally would. But I have mine here, so I figured I would use it. There we go. I'm kind of thinking that now we grab some wire. This is a 20 gauge half hard wire, and I'll just chop a piece off. And I am going to make a loop. Kind of thinking that I might put a little ball on either side. So one of those, one of these. Where's the hole? Oh my gosh. I'm having trouble finding holes today. And I'm going to put this one on as well. There we go, that's quite pretty, isn't it? And now I'm going to make a loop in the other end. Okay, now I just need to make sure my loops are both going the same direction. So I'm holding the loop, each loop in my pliers, and I'm going to twist so that my pliers are facing the same way. There is my component. Now I'm going to open one of these loops and I'm going to attach my little flower. Just holding the loop on the side and twisting my hand down, popping on my flower and closing that loop up. There is my center dangle. Isn't it pretty? I love the colors. It's so soft. That looks really cool. I'm really, really happy with that. Right now I'm going to string it, and I'm not going to use the antique bronze brass. I'm going to use the soft flex. This is pink tourmaline, and this one came in, I think, the exotic blooms kit. So I'm going to be using a piece of this. So I need a piece that is longer than what I'm stringing by about 10 centimeters or 5 inches at least. There's my soft flex. This is a pink tourmaline color, and it is a 0.019 inch or 0.48 millimeter. And it is a 49 strand, so nice and strong. The first thing I'm going to do is put on a bead stopper so that my beads don't run off the end when I'm stringing. Now I like to turn my bead board sideways when I'm stringing. It just helps. I'm going to move my beads over here so they're not in the way. And I'm going to start stringing. So it's really super easy. All I'm going to do is put on my beads. Now, if you would like to make this, I will leave you a link in the description box to a blog post, and that will contain links to everything I've used here. So just stringing all these beads on. So I've finished my little run there of my ends, and I've started with my purple one and my cube. Right, that's what I have now, and I've reached the center. Now I'm going to feed on the loop here of my component, and it is nicely closed, so it should not come off. Then I'm going to string the other side. Now, if you're interested in seeing what I do with the rest of these beads, because I do have plans, I always do a after video or a second piece of a video for my members only. So if you would like to check that out, where I'm going to make, what am I making? I'm going to make a bracelet and some earrings, I think. So if you'd like to check that out, there's a link in the description box so you can go and join the membership. And at the moment, there's a 7-day free trial, so I'll leave you that link in the description box. Of course, if you're enjoying this one, it would be great if you would give me a thumbs up, and also, if you'd like to see more, hit the notification bell and the subscribe. Now, I know a lot of people are addicted to buying these bead boxes, these challenge boxes, and I would really like to know, do you buy the challenge boxes? And if you do you actually use the beads? Because I hear so many people tell me that they buy them and they don't ever get around to making anything with them. So let me know in the comment section, are you addicted to buying the bead boxes and not doing anything with them? So here's my necklace all strung. Now I have a tip for you for making sure that you've got all the beads on. So what you do is you hold one end, the center, with one hand, and you hold the other end with your other hand, and then you can compare the beads all the way up. If your pieces are different lengths, that's a pretty good indicator that you have missed something. And mine look right. Just double checking all the way, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, we're all good. All right, now we have to deal with the ends. To put on my ends, I am going to need 2 crimp tubes. I'm going to need some jump rings, which I have here. The first thing I'm going to do is close up my 6mm jump ring. So there's my jump ring, it's nicely closed. Now this necklace is double-sided, meaning it doesn't matter which way you wear it. So you can wear it this way, or you can wear it this way. You don't need to worry about which side you put your clasp on. If you've got a single-sided necklace and you're right-handed, you want to put your clasp on the right-hand side because it's easier for you to do it up and undo it with your right hand, and vice versa for left. But today we're not worrying about that because this is a double-sided necklace. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on my crimp tube, I am going to feed on my jump ring, and then I'm going to bring my end of my wire back down through my jump ring, and I'm going to crimp that. By the way, I'm always asked lots of questions about using the magical crimper, and last week I did a Q&A where I answered all of those questions, so I will leave that at the end of the video. Okay, so there it is crimped. Now I'm going to trim off some of my wire, and I'm going to feed all these beads up, making sure I tuck that end inside those beads, if it will go. Okay, so it's too fat, it's not going to go in, so I'm actually just going to trim it really, really tight to the crimp tube. The reason I don't like doing this is sometimes if you don't trim it close enough, it can feel a little pointy or pokey. Before you attach your clasp, always check that it works, because sometimes clasps get stuck or they don't work, but that one's working okay. So I'm going to take my 2 pairs of chain nose pliers and a 4mm jump ring. You could use a 6 for this if you wanted. I'm going to find the top where the jump ring opens, the place where it opens, and I'm going to put that at the top away from me and hold the pliers and open. Hold it with the pliers and open. There we go. Feeding on my clasp and closing that up. I do need to make sure it's got no gap because I'm feeding it onto the soft flex and I don't want it to fall off, which it will if there's even the tiniest gap. You'd be surprised how small a gap a piece of soft flex or tiger tail can come out of. There's my jump ring on my clasp, and now I'm going to feed on my crimp tube. Then I'm going to feed on the 4mm jump ring that I just attached to my clasp, and then I'm going back down through my crimp tube, and because I can't get my soft flex through those beads again, I'm just going to pull it out the top. Now when you're crimping a necklace, you want to make sure that the beads still move, so you want it tight but not too tight. That's a little bit too loose, so I'm going to pull that crimp tube down and pull again, and just double check, there's nothing worse than having a stiff necklace. Now I'm going to take my crimping pliers and crimp it. And always double check. It's nice and tight, and I'm just going to bend it over and cut it as close as possible to that crimp tube. I think it's quite sweet seeing the little pop of pink there. You can't see much of it, but it's kind of nice. And there's my necklace. Here it is on. I do love the colours. Probably would have been better without the turtleneck underneath, but the colours actually look quite lovely with the aqua. Now, if you're interested in seeing what I make with the rest of the beads, then check out that 7-day trial for the Jewel Box group on the Style Makers Network. Now remember, I've left you a link in the description box to a blog post which will contain links to everything I've used today, as well as some pictures or close-up pictures of what I've done so that you can get a better idea of how I laid out the beads. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.